Hello, Star Wars Unboxing fans. Welcome to an unusual episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba. And today, I have a bit of a project that I have to do, and I thought I would share it with you. But before I do that, I wanted to kind of give you kind of a life update. There has been roughly 4 episodes that I pre-recorded, so about 2 weeks worth of episodes that you have been watching through the end of December, the beginning of January. And this episode should drop somewhere in the middle of January. Well, we've had a couple of life developments in that time. The most notable being I and my family contracted COVID. Now, I will say right out of the gate, it was a breakthrough case. We were fully vaccinated. We had the booster shots. We were well protected and boosted, but we got COVID. It just happened. Thankfully, it was a mild case. It continues at the time of this recording, continues to be a mild case. For me, it's basically a relentless chest cough, and that's pretty much it. I didn't really have much in the way of fevers or aches or pains. No loss of taste, no loss of smell. I actually, I don't think this is a political statement. This is just a medical statement, okay, which is I advise you to get the vaccine if you haven't already done so. I know people are very concerned. It's a very polarizing subject. It shouldn't be. Vaccines have been around forever, and they tend to do far more help than harm. If you have any concern about the harmful effects it might cause, which, frankly, a lot of that is pure hogwash. It's not really, aside from some get worried about getting the symptoms. My wife got the symptoms, and this was, even in its lightest stage, was far worse than the symptoms. Don't worry about that. All right. So, but what I would suggest is you talk to your doctor. You talk to your physician. Go to a trusted physician and find out from them what to do. Okay. Maybe your particular situation is. I do know some very unusual circumstances from people I'm friends with, and I know that might prohibit them getting a vaccine at this time. But I cannot stress to you enough. It is the way this virus is going to most likely work is that it's going to infect quite a lot of people, including people that already had the vaccine. But the people with vaccines will end up with a mild cold, and that's far better than some of the horror stories that we are hearing about. Okay, so I'm doing great. You'll hear that occasionally. All right, but beyond that, hasn't been a problem. I still am in a bit of a quarantine mode right now, about a few more days at the time of this recording. So I was doing some straightening up, some setting up in the Star Wars room, as you can see behind me. But then I received another phone call. And that is that back in the summer, we had made the decision to replace our water heater, our boiler. It is a 40-plus-year-old boiler, close to 50 years old. And while it runs great in the sense that it never really broke down very much, it is not very efficient, and it's a little dangerous. There is always a nervousness about turning that thing on, particularly after the long summer, that it's going to explode or cause a fire. So we really were getting nervous about it, and we wanted to replace it with a more highly efficient, better for the environment, water heater. So we reached out to our company that we use, and they said, yes, we are ready. We can order one for you. We extended the deposit. And then Hurricane Ida took place. And in this part of this country, it wiped out tons and tons of homes, particularly when it comes to flooding, and then flooding out furnaces and boilers and things like that. So then they got all backed up, and they basically said to us, look, until your boiler breaks, you have to go to the end of the line. If it breaks, we will move you to the front of the line. But until it breaks, you have to be there. So that was in September. So fast forward, now we're January, and I got a call today saying, we can come tomorrow to replace your boiler. I'm like, oh, great. Made sure they were aware about our COVID symptoms. They said, be downstairs. We'll be downstairs the whole time. We'll call you if we have any questions or need anything from you. And I said, okay, then you're good. We're good. Come on in. Slight little problem, though, which I will share with you in a moment. I'm pretty good at keeping the boiler and furnace away from Gotta move my little tripod in here to keep it away from the Star Wars collection. As you can see, there's not much going on there. However, there are still some figures that kind of dangle from the top, and these shelvings over here, particularly this one, is this one right here with BB-8 placed out there, not the best place for this. So I'm going to be doing a little rearranging. Right now it's temporary. However, there's always a possibility that this will have to stay permanent, because the reality of it is that I have no idea how big this new unit's going to be. I've seen pictures of it, but it's hard to tell the scale based on the pictures. So we will move everything around, get everything out from the rafters, just to give them a clear area for them to work. Now, in as far as other things, like the more I look at everything, the more I realize that there's even stuff on this side that I'm probably going to have to do. So I got some boxes, and I'm going to box everything up, stack everything on the table out here, where our Darth Tuba studio table, and we will just go from there. Okay, so that's the plan. And maybe when it's all said and done, I will put everything back, and I will then show you the final result. But again, here is the old boiler. Okay, as you can see, it's not all that great. The water heater behind there is actually a newer tank, so that's not bad. But as we said, I kept things away from the back there, so we want to definitely give the workers that are going to do this proper amount of space. And it's funny, every time they come to do any servicing or anything, I always apologize before we go in. I'm like, I'm a Star Wars collector, folks. Don't freak out. And it's amazing what they tell me every time. They say to me, "Oh, this is nothing, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're impressed by this, but we've gone into basements that are just filled with people that have stacks and stacks of newspapers. We've seen doomsday preppers with canned goods and water and everything else, and transistor radios. We've seen people with trains. We've seen people with Hess trucks. We've seen people with racing cars, collectible racing cars." They said, "This is nothing. We'll let you know if we need something to be moved, but otherwise it's good." So just trying to be a little bit courteous. So and I guess I'm saying this to you guys. Look, we all have our limitations as to where we can store, and I wish I could do a more recessed collectible setup, and maybe someday I will do that. But for now, this is the best I can do. And yes, I've even entertained comments and answered comments. Some people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't have it so close to the boiler." I agree, I shouldn't, but we're limited to what we can do. So, but this will offer me a little opportunity to kind of reassess and maybe reshape where things are, and we'll go from there. All right, so let's. Okay, so that didn't take too long. You can see here we have all of our stuff. Most of the stuff hanging from the rafters, hanging from these two boxes. Boy, when you kind of fold them back on each other, they do these boxes, these medium-sized travel boxes, they take up a lot of space. You can put a lot of things in there. Some of these were kind of clipped together, so I just decided to keep them there. This is one of my pieces of a Palatoy Death Star that I just wanted to get out of the way. So here, let me show you the rest here. Okay, so we've kind of given them a pretty clear workspace. Okay, this is the piece that they're removing, and I'll replace it with something else. I moved the other stuff kind of out of the way. Now I will say this: we have some pipes here. I'm expecting, making an educated guess, that the pipes will work. We'll get fused over here, because all of these are just travel pipes. If they do need to do some stuff over here, I'm gonna have to they'll have to let me know, and I'll have to take a lunch break and I'll remove all those. I'm really hoping that's not the case, but if it does, it does. So we shall see what happens. So what I'll do now is the next video clip you see will be the hopefully end result of our replacement boiler, and we can kind of see how that looks, and maybe I'll even skip the whole process of getting things back. You saw how they came down. I'm just going to put them up the same way, no real thing there, and I'll show you what the end product looks like. Okay, we have now just fast forwarded to the end of our little project here, and there is our new state-of-the-art, fully efficient home heating system. And as you can see, we've done some slight modifications. We just pretty much brought things back, but just trimmed them up a little bit, cleaned them out a little, gave a little more space here. Kept the back area alone, but you know, we do have some things hanging right near it. Nothing nearby, nothing too dangerous. Just done a little bit of straightening back here as well. Overall, pretty pleased with it. Here, ooh, forgot about this little bag, but this little open spot right here will be where the Razor Crest goes, if it ever gets either there or right here. I might actually put it right here. Yes, still coughing from COVID, but actually I think it's more seasonal allergies or like winter asthma or some type of thing like that. But so there we go. All right. Didn't take too long. Wasn't too much of a chore. Got our studio back, ready to go for the next episode. So that'll do it for today's episode of a little, unboxing, or really not unboxing. I guess it was just a little room rearranging. But I think it's good for people to see what I can do with a space that I have, which allows them to decide if they want to do something similar or maybe completely avoid it, because in the end, it's important to do what works for you. I also was able to kind of make a few adjustments down here because my old heater was so bad that I didn't even have to turn the heat on in this lower level space. And because the heat from the boiler would actually heat the whole bottom level, which was great for the bottom level, but when it comes to fuel efficiency, it was horrible. It was just wasting heat, wasting energy like crazy. So this one, well, just to give you an idea, it's actually running. It's running right now. You can't even hear it. There have been other days where I've been talking on it down here, and all of a sudden, the thing kicks in and just big, flame and air and everything else going on. So that is really good. Also, I'll test out what they said here. Pretty cool to the touch. It's like either cold or a very lukewarm. So, that's a good thing. That is a very, 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 very good thing. Just turning off my lights in here while I go off. You can, there's a few lights that have to get turned off before I leave the space. Ooh, it's dark. Where do I go? There I am. All right, so that'll do it for the episode. Sure to check out my Monday, Sunday, and Wednesday drops, and also the podcast I do with John Mark Charlie, War of the Stars, the Star Wars podcast. Check that out wherever podcasts are. We took a little hiatus, but now we're back, and we'll be dropping a new episode. Actually, we'll be recording one live tonight as I'm recording right now. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you all. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force and the toys be with you.